Alright guys, so today we're going to be replacing a front passenger door speaker in the 1998 Toyota 4Runner Limited. And these are the speakers I got for my 4Runner. And these are the speakers that came out of my 4Runner. These are both from the front doors. And at the moment, I don't know which one to put in the front passenger side because a couple of the numbers are slightly different. So I'll have to wait and see once I get the other door off to see which ones I want to put in there. Alright, so what you're going to do to take your door panel off is you're going to have to pop this little pin out here. You can just push it in with your fingernail and it'll just pop right out. And then there's a screw right there, and then you just unscrew it and it slides forward or backwards and then it'll pop out. And for this, you just pry up here with a screwdriver and then slide it out, unplug it, and then it'll come out there. And then this thing just pops right off. And there are two Phillips screws here that you can just unscrew. And everything will be unscrewed, and then all you have to do that's left is just unpop all of the little clips that are down here. You can just do this with your bare hands or with a plastic tool if you have one. Alright, so once you get all of that stuff done, and also it's easier to kind of lift the door panel out and kind of twist the handle out with it. And there also is another push tab over here that I forgot about, but I found it. So once you get this off, down here is your speaker. And this orange cable goes up here to your tweeter speaker, but we're not going to work on that today, even though these are junk from the factory. But this is the speaker in question, and so you have 6 bolts that hold this plastic panel on. And then once you get this plastic panel off, you're going to want to unscrew the 4 screws that are around the speaker. And then they use a really thick adhesive. You can see right here there's like a thick glue or gel that goes around the whole thing. So if you can, leave it out in the sun for a couple minutes, and then it's kind of a slimy mess, but it'll kind of unglue from itself, and then it comes off a lot easier. Alright, so once you get this off, you'll find that it is stuck on here with some adhesive foam, which really goes to show the length that Toyota took to make this a really good sound system, because you have some foam on here and some foam back here. But anyways, once you do that, you'll have to kind of pull it out a bit, and then you just unplug these 2 clips. You can do them with your hand. It's pretty simple. And now we just got to put this out in the sun for a little bit and let the glue kind of, soften a bit so you can pull the speaker out. Alright, so now with figuring out which ones to put where, these 2 speakers came out of a 2000 SR5 with the upgraded audio, and this is from a 98 Limited. And so this one seems to be the best match because these numbers up here match the ones up here, but the ones down here don't match up here. So the numbers don't totally match up, but they do look like the same speakers and they have the same wiring. So I'm just gonna go with this one, and I mean, a speaker's a speaker. It shouldn't make that big of a difference. Alright, so real quick, I thought before I took all this apart and started cutting wires, and I figured that since this doesn't look, I don't see any signs of it being broken, I thought that I would plug it into my car and plug the wires into the speaker and see if it worked. And I plugged it in and it doesn't work, so it still doesn't make any noise. So that's a good thing, but it's always good to double check to make sure that what you think that is a problem is actually the problem. So that was just kind of a good double check that I did there, just to make sure, because I have seen sometimes it could be a wiring problem or a fuse or something. So I just thought I would check this before I started ripping it open and cutting the wires off and stuff. Alright, so once you pry the speaker out, and it is pretty hard even once it gets softened up, this glue is very strong, and this is nasty stuff too. It kind of makes strings when you first are pulling it off. But next what we're going to do is we're just going to snip these 2 wires here. I got my trusty wire strippers and a cutter down here, and I'm just going to cut the 2 wires, the yellow and the gray, and then I'll just splice the new yellow and gray from the new speaker on, and everything should work pretty good. Alright, so what I did here was I got the soldering gun and I just soldered the 2 connections together, and then I put some electrical tape around them to protect them. Don't use electrical tape. If you can, get some heat shrink. I don't have any, so this is what I got. This is what I'm doing. But if you can, definitely try and get some heat shrink. It is a lot better. But yeah, it was kind of hard because these cords were really short on the end of the speaker. but I was able to get it done. But yeah, if you can, try to make sure your cords are a little bit longer so you have more flexibility with how you solder it. But other than that, all soldered together pretty good, and hopefully it'll sound good too. Oh, and when you're putting this in, make sure that you get the wires through. There's a little divot in the plastic right here. It might be covered up by the glue, but when you do this, just make sure that you can get the wires through that little divot, and then there's just the 4 screws that you already took off. Just screw it back down, and all the silicone or rubber, whatever that is that's left, should be enough to take care of the vibrations. Alright, so I got the speaker in, and it sounds pretty good. Everything works good. I got it all screwed in. It's all installed there. And it does sound pretty good. It does sound a little different from the right to the left, but very slightly. But other than that, it sounds really good. These tweeters are ass. They're terrible. These are horrible tweeters. There's all kinds of noise. It just isn't even from the. It's just static, honestly. And if when I get the chance, I'll definitely try and upgrade these because these are just horrible. I even considered not plugging them in. This is the cord right here. I even considered not doing it because it's just terrible. But I did anyways, just because it's not my car. But yeah, it's everything worked out pretty good. So overall, this is a pretty simple and easy process, as long as you know which is positive and negative. And for this side, I believe the green is positive and the blue is negative. So as long as you know which one is positive and negative, honestly, it's just a matter of connecting wires and matching colors, and just taking some screws in and out. So I highly recommend doing it yourself and upgrading your speakers if you can from stock, because it definitely sounds better with different speakers, and it really does make a difference. So yeah, other than that, everything is pretty much just reverse of what you already did for reinstalling it. Also, these are really hard, and this green plastic thing here will snap if you're not careful. So you want to tilt it a little bit, but you really want to have the door panel kind of work with you. You kind of want to lift it out from the bottom so that you can get the door handle in, because it's going to be in through the back here. So you want to get it in through the back and then position it in, and then once it's in, it will slide this way a little bit. You'll slide it about like 1/4 of an inch or so, because it has to, the teeth here have to hook into these holes here. So you put it in and then it slides like that. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty simple, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you can, like, share, and subscribe.